My reputation's on the line. That's my practice. That's my work product. That's my firm. It's got to be done right. And so they just micromanage everything, including their own work product, and nothing seems to get done. That perfectionism is choking them. Well, hello and welcome to the J. Sterling Hughes Show, where we share how we have built our family law practice from 0 to 25 attorneys and over $15 million in revenue over the past 10 years. And my purpose here is to document what's working and what's not working in our practice, with hopes that you can take that and you can recontextualize that for your practice and shorten your success curve. My name is Jeff Hughes and I'm your host. And today we're talking about self-sabotage, in particular, lawyers who sabotage their own practice's growth. And there are two primary ways that this shows up that I have witnessed and I have seen in talking with dozens and hundreds of attorneys over the years, and also seeing it in my own experience, my own life. So the first one is mistaking activity for progress. That's one of the ways that we self-sabotage our law firm's growth. And the second way is we stop learning and we stop growing and taking on new ideas until we've implemented the first one. So we start to implement and we stop taking on new ideas and new learnings until we get the first one done. And that just kills growth. So let me break these down for you. The first one to focus on here is mistaking activity for progress. I had a partner one time, great guy, but he was always getting ready to get ready. And it just drove me bananas to see lots of planning, building great spreadsheets and models and putting meetings together and all of this, but nothing ever seemed to get done. If you were to ask him, he was super busy because he was always working long hours, but really going nowhere. Nothing of substance moving the firm forward was getting done. A lot of times I've seen this show up where attorneys are reading everything they can on growing their practice. They're listening to podcasts, they're going through blogs, they're attending conferences, they're getting a coach, but then nothing happens. So why is this? The first one is perfectionism. They believe it has to be perfect. You've heard it all. My reputation's on the line. That's my practice. That's my work product. That's my firm. It's got to be done right. And so they just micromanage everything, including their own work product, and nothing seems to get done. That perfectionism is choking them. Now, there's a whole lot of psychological reasons why perfectionism happens, and I don't want to get into all that. I don't even pretend to know how to do that. But I know that it holds people up. And so they just don't try. If it can't be perfect, I can't do it. So I'm just going to wait until I can get it perfect. That's self-sabotage. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it perfectionism. You can call it quality, but most of the time it's just self-sabotage. The second one is they stop learning, they stop growing, and they stop taking on new ideas until they've implemented the first ones. That's a big mistake. So what I have experienced is that when I immerse myself into a period of really intense learning on something that I want to do, something that's new, I'll read everything I can get my hands on. I'll start accumulating a long list of ideas and concepts. I'll attend conferences. I'll talk to other people, I'll network, I'll do everything I can to start assimilating all the information that I need to execute on it. And those ideas begin to build, and then my knowledge takes on more and more, and I follow rabbit trails and I do all of those things. And the oddest thing happens. It seems like this happens all the time, and I can never predict when it will, if it will happen early or late in the process, is that major idea will come, that significant game-changing concept will somehow materialize in my brain, and I'll catch this idea, this vision, and I'll be able to grab onto that, and I'll recognize that. And all those other 95% of ideas and concepts that I've accumulated really are not useful. It's that one thing that appeared as I was going through that immersive learning and growing process. That is one big reason why you should never stop learning and growing and taking on new ideas. Another one is idea filtering. The more ideas we take on, the more we learn how to find and identify those 1, 2, or 3% of ideas that can really turn the game around for our practice. And it helps us learn how to filter down to those essential few things that we can execute. It's really applying really rigorous 80-20 principle thinking. So finding those few things that give us the biggest return. If you're not constantly learning and dumping more ideas into that funnel, you're not going to find those one or two things that really advance the firm, and more than if you executed all those other things that you have on your list. Also, I found that you lose momentum when you're not constantly growing and learning and taking on new information. You just lose momentum. And the last reason why is that the world that we live in today is moving so fast, especially with AI, and you can't even keep up with AI today. Even on a daily basis, there's new things coming out. The speed of the practice and of business is so incredibly fast today that moving through information, being able to assimilate information quick, it's a superpower to grow your practice. And so if you get stagnant and you quit growing and learning and you just focus on one or two things and getting those absolutely right and not implementing the next things, you will find yourself stymied and stuck. And that is another way that lawyers self-sabotage. I hope those two things are helpful to you and you can avoid them as you build your law practice.